Welcome to Talking Giants, presented by SeatGeek. I'm your host, Bobby Skinny, here with my co-host, Justin Penik, and we have with ourselves a Cowboys preview as we begin the Tommy DeVito era. Justin, how are you?
Oh boy, here we go into the wilderness. We go, Bobby Skinner. Some fun football coming up. Can't wait. So excited. Tommy DeVito, Dallas Cowboys defensive front really fits the strengths of the Giants offensive line. And the Cowboys offense has really been dwindling the last month, and they're not playing their best football right now. Are the Cowboys like the quietest team in the NFL? Like, I could have said all those things. The Cowboys are like the quietest team in the NFL over the last month. Nobody talks about them anymore.
I mean, I know they lost to the Eagles, but I actually thought they looked pretty. Like, I thought that was one of their best offensive games, considering the opponent.
I was being sarcastic.
Oh, okay. Before we get into this preview, this episode was brought to you by Rob Dempsey. Clint Dempsey. Do you know who Clint Dempsey is?
No.
Bad American. Justin, who are these people?
These wonderful people went to patreon.com/talkofgiants. So for $2 a month plus some other tiers, you get to hang with us live while we record the shows. Bobby will send you some stickers in the mail, plus there's some shirt raffles. Patreon.com/talkinggiants. That entire intro that I did was very sarcastic, by the way. I don't know if anybody picked up on that.
We didn't. Tommy DeVito, Justin, first start in the NFL, playing against the most relentless pass rush that just causes chaos down in and down out. Like we obviously saw that. Offensively, man, this is gonna be a sight to see. Like, with this passing game, like, do you lean on the run? Because I actually think the Giants can run halfway decent on the Cowboys, but if the Cowboys don't give a damn about Tommy DeVito, the passing game, then they won't be able to do as much. This is a chaos defense. They cause chaos, and when you're facing Tommy DeVito, a defense like this is licking its chops when the Giants have the offensive line that they do in front of them.
Is this not going to be the talking point every game from here on out? About, like, unless there's maybe a change at quarterback and there's more veteran presence in there, I guess. But is the approach just not lean on Saquon Barkley and see what happens from there and see if something else can open up from there?
I mean, versus the Raiders, like, they could actually throw the ball and run some concepts because they're able to protect. Versus the Cowboys, like, it's to bet on protection. It's going to be a lot, and then if you're just kind of running quick game and stuff, like, you're probably going to bait DeVito into some mistakes or some inaccurate throws that will lead to turnovers. So, I mean, yeah, when you're playing Philly and Dallas with Tommy DeVito at quarterback with this offensive line, yeah, but it's way more so, right? Like, next week when you play the Commanders, like, yeah, you want to lean into Saquon, but it's not out of fear. It's out of being smart. This week against this Cowboys pass rush with DeVito, it is fear based. You know, kind of the way they played the Jets defense.
Yeah, man. Here's what I'm looking out for. It's not even so much like, oh, can the Giants be successful? I want to know, will the Cowboys give us what we want and put Micah Parsons on Andrew Thomas? Or are they going to be smart and are they going to put Micah Parsons everywhere and anywhere but on Andrew Thomas so Micah Parsons can win on a consistent basis?
And yeah, they move him all over the place. And I think that's something that they like to maybe do within the division is, hey, week one, we lined him up on the right tackle and then we lined him up in the A-gap a lot. But you could see them the Giants are obviously how they could change their tendency would, hey, we're going to put Parsons on the left tackle and then we're going to throw all this other stuff. But their pass rush, I mean, they got 7 sacks, 12 QB hits on 35 dropbacks, and it wasn't even QB generated in this game. So just imagine with DeVito, whose eyes just go down when there is pressure and looks to scramble. You're not going to be able to scramble versus Cowboys defense. They're going to line up Micah Parsons all over. So, obviously, you got to run the ball, right? And the Giants' second best rushing performance on an efficiency basis was against the Cowboys. So you got to run up the gut too, right? Like, they've got a lot of speed on the edges. Don't try and get out on the corners a ton. Go up the gut, especially when they line up Micah Parsons in the A-gap, Justin. I don't care if it's 2nd and 12. Run at him. Run at him and force him to play the run and don't allow him to get one-on-ones with your starting center and starting guard. And then when you do get into some of your play action, you've got to block everybody. You cannot assume they're going to chase the run either. This is a defense that's looking to cause havoc. They are not going to chase the run on the backside. And we saw them blow up 2 plays in the week 1 game by that happening. They're going to try and get upfield. They are not going to be playing perfect rush lanes. They're looking to attack and have, they're looking to have an 8-sack, 2 interception type game.
Is there a receiver that breaks 40 yards this game?
On the Giants?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think Slayton probably does, because
Okay.
I think he's going to be the number 1 part of the progression, right? Mostly, and you saw them do some concepts that DeVito like they actually got into 4 verts versus the Raiders. I know, I think they're going to try and do some stuff to, find holes in like that 10 to 20 yard range, because the Cowboys are probably going to be jumping on quick game if you can protect for just enough. So yeah, I would say Slayton probably. They're not playing. Obviously, Diggs is injured. They're still doing well with Bland and Gilmore. But yeah, I would say Slayton. And this is the game, Justin, where I would probably be the offensive game plan was the worst for the Giants week 1, because they had these long developing plays, because they thought they were going to be running this different type of pass offense, and they just couldn't protect against it. So I'm not excited. I'm interested to see how the Giants, they're not going to pass the ball up, but when they do pass it, what type of stuff are they trying to work? Because you can even say work quick game versus their pass rush, but to work quick game, you got to be on your game, right? You cannot be making mistakes. You can't be second guessing, and that's something that DeVito does. So it's going to be interesting to see what type of concepts they put out there for DeVito to try and get him comfortable.
Yeah, man. You mentioned how Diggs went down. Week 1 we saw Diggs, and now we're seeing a Cowboy team without Stephon Diggs, and it's crazy how DaRon Bland he's like playing at like an all-pro level. I mean, if you get the interceptions and you have pass deflections and you force turnovers, he also has 3 pick sixes this year, 3 touchdowns, which is crazy.
Against the Giants.
One against the Giants. So it's crazy how DaRon Bland, this 5th round pick last year from Fresno State, 24 years old, not really this big or overly fast corner. It's crazy how this guy has just stepped into being like a CB1 for the Cowboys, a guy that they initially envisioned would be a slot guy in this year because you have Diggs and Gilmore on the outside, and now DaRon Bland is playing at an all-pro level, forcing a bunch of turnovers. It's kind of crazy.
Yeah, the Dan Quinn is. I don't think he'd be a good head. Maybe he could be a good head coach if he got his chance, but he knows how to get the most out of every single guy.
Yeah, and also his defenses continue to force turnovers. Like, I'm waiting for the year, and this is like my like NFL Cowboy talking point after year 1 of Dan Quinn's defense is, well, they're not going to force as many turnovers as they did the previous year, because sometimes that could be like a volatile stat that changes year to year. It's not for Dan Quinn's defense. Every single year, they're top 10, top 5 in turnover rate, and I think even right now they're 8th in the NFL in forced turnover rate on defense. So every year, it's just a thing that they do.
Obviously, we talked about it a little bit. I do not want to pound Saquon into the ground, but you got to lean, you got to let Breida get carries. Hell, if you want to give Deion Jackson a few carries, I don't care about that either. But obviously, you want to lean on the run. Be careful getting around the corner. They got too much speed on the edges. They have that rotation of D linemen who are looking to cause chaos, but they can be leaned on in the interior. And like I said before, when they put Parsons in the A gap, run at them. Like, I would run unless it's like 3rd and 15, and maybe even if it is 3rd and 15, because you're not going to get a 16-yard play with Tommy DeVito, and the Giants can't run a screen for shit. Every single time they put Micah Parsons in the A gap, I would run the ball every single time, because if you don't, it's more than likely going to lead to a negative passing play.
Yeah. Osa Odighizuwa, he's an interior guy that I think week 1 we talked about, Bobby, that the Giants can maybe run at him a little bit. I think he's having a really good year. I think he's even making some plays in the run game that I wasn't expecting. Osa Odighizuwa being good makes me sour about Owa Odighizuwa being bad for the Giants all those years ago. So, Cowboys defense is good, but I do think the Giants should lean. Giants run blocking and the Giants offensive line. We didn't really talk about it in the mailbag, but the Giants offensive line did look like its best version of itself this year. Lo and behold, Andrew Thomas being back and Pugh shifting the guard, and now that Evan Neal's out of the lineup, which Tyree Phillips may be an upgrade over Evan Neal, this, again, we may be saying is the best-looking Giants offensive line but obviously it's a very, very tough test, even going up against this Cowboy run defense too.
Yeah, and hopefully you'll have Bredesen in there over Glowinski, who was got benched after this game. Evan Neal played bad. JMS played all right, except for when Parsons lined up in the A gap, and then Bredesen and Thomas weren't there. Thomas was injured, and then Bredesen didn't have his best game, but it wasn't a disaster. So it should be a little better. It's just now we have Tommy DeVito at quarterback, and the Cowboys defense knows it. Why don't you talk to us about something before we talk about the Cowboys offense?
I'll talk to you about SeatGeek. Today's episode is sponsored by SeatGeek. If you don't know what SeatGeek is, they're a ticketing app that makes buying tickets super, super simple. It's a bucket list game. This Dallas game going down to Arlington, Texas. It's a bucket list thing. I'm going to do it. And I'm going to get my tickets whenever I go to a Giants-Cowboys game, or even like if the Giants are on a bye and I want to go and just enjoy the beauties of that stadium. I'm going to use SeatGeek with over 28 million downloads. SeatGeek is the number one rated ticketing app, and that means number one in the world. There are more than 70,000 events every single day on SeatGeek, including sports, concerts, festivals, and more. They always want to make sure that you're getting a good deal. So when you're on the app, look for the green dots. Green means good. Red means bad. And also, come join us at the end of the month, because Bobby will be back up for the Giants-Patriots game. We'll be hosting our free tailgate in L16. So come to the Giants-Patriots game as well. See the Joe Judge revenge game. We forgot to hook up. Use code GIANTS for $20 off your first purchase at SeatGeek. That's $20 off your first purchase with promo code GIANTS. Click the link in the description to download the app. Bobby Skinner, you'll be glad you did.
You'll be glad you did. Now, the Giants defense did not play horrible in that week 1 Cowboys game. Like, they only allowed 4.8 yards per play, which is really solid. And then you had the two, one special teams touchdown and then one pick six. So, then 26 points. DJ had another interception that led to points. We're solid in the red zone. If the Giants are able to stay competitive in this game for 2 to 3 quarters in any game this year, really, is because it's going to be against their defense. So again, we're realistic about the Giants, right? Like, we're not going into this and like plan of attack to this is how the Giants beat the Cowboys, right? Like, to beat the Cowboys, you'd have to get kind of lucky. They're just way more talented than you have Tommy DeVito at quarterback. But I do want to see the Giants defense perform well, right? Like, as the season gets better against evaluations, like, perform well against a good Cowboys offense. Right. And it's not like, again, it's not some like complex offense where it's just there's not many answers for it. Like, their only explosive play in the passing game was a rub route on CeeDee Lamb that honestly should have been called for offensive pass interference. Outside of that, like, the Dak was off his game. The Giants held tight end man coverage. They got another big play off of a Hawkins defensive pass interference where he was not beat. The pass defense could be pretty good. Here's what I really want. I want to see Dexter Lawrence win versus Zach Martin. I'm tired of coming away from games where we're facing Jason Kelce or Zach Martin and Dexter Lawrence is not playing like really good. I want to see. I want to start seeing him be at least not. Obviously, he's not going to have dominant games, but look like an All Pro versus the other All Pros.
Yeah, even Tyler Smith too, which Tyler Smith did play against the Eagles. I know some of that Cowboys offensive line is banged up a little bit, but even Tyler Smith too, where Tyler Smith is more of the mainstay. I think, Zach Martin could be on his way out within the next, 2-ish, maybe 3 years, maybe even less. Tyler Smith is going to be the mainstay in the NFC East, and I think Tyler Smith is having a better year than Zach Martin right now. So I kind of want to see. I agree with you. I kind of want to see Dex just have a good game in general. And if we're talking about centers, Tyler Biadasz is if he's still active and he's still playing. I don't think he's very good. So I think Dex should easily take advantage of, when you're at nose tackle, take advantage of playing that center in Tyler Biadasz. So I agree with you, man. I mean, this Cowboy offense, and I said it sarcastically in the open, this is the part where I was serious. The Cowboys have been one of the more quieter teams in the last month. Nobody's really, talked about them. And I think you have a theory as to why. I think we were talking off air one day. But also, they have one of the best offenses since week 6. They're second in EPA per play. They're throwing the ball very well. They're not running it extremely well. They're running it a little bit below average. So this offense, they're kind of hitting their stride and playing some tougher opponents towards the middle part of the season. I would like to see this Giants defense give somewhat of a solid effort. Was it you I was talking with why the Cowboys might be a quiet team in the NFL right now? Was it you I was talking about that with?
Was it because I said that people are finally stopping to fall for the Cowboys midseason playing great, and just
Yes.
like, yeah, it's just every year. I told myself I'm not being fooled anymore, but last year was the first year where I said I'm not being fooled by the Dallas Cowboys midseason performances where they look like a Super Bowl contender, and then they inevitably choke in the playoffs when they're playing good teams. Like the only playoff win they've had in the last 5 years was against the Bucks, who were 8-9, 9-8. Yeah, I think that's it. Just before that, it was that Lions game, right? Before the Des caught it whole thing. So yeah, I'm not falling for them. Also, I mentioned Dex and pass rush. To win in the run game, Dex needs to win versus those guys, Tyler Smith and Zach Martin too,
Yeah.
right? Because allow your linebackers to play free. They do a great job of getting out on the outside. Even though the Cowboys run game is not what it once was, when they're playing the Giants, it usually gets back to that. So we need Dex to have that type of game. Obviously, no Leonard Williams, so that's a drop off to Ashawn and those guys. Okereke and McFadden, play well up front so those guys can continue to play fast and free. But again, you also have to be careful their play action. Like we remember coming away from this game, the Cowboys didn't run any true dropbacks or besides a handful. So they're going to try and get in your play action. So it's kind of like McFadden play free. Okereke, you got to get back in your stuff. And then if it's Adore or Banks, we don't know if Adore is going to even be healthy. The CeeDee Lamb battle is the battle for the Cowboys. They are a CeeDee Lamb or bust offense. Their second leading receiver is Jake Ferguson, who, by the way, me and you really liked as a tight end.
Yeah, good for us.
In the draft, but we were also like, he'll do some stuff in the receiving game, but he's not really like a huge receiving threat. And look at him now; he's the second leading receiver on the Dallas Cowboys in year 2.
I was a little bit more high on him than you, so I'm taking that that W a little bit more than you.
I was the Jake Ferguson guy. Don't that's horse shit. I was the Jake Ferguson guy. I want to look at my old tweets.
Did I take him in a mock draft?
I think I took him in a mock draft.
Oh, I hope one of us did. Good player.
Go watch Wisconsin tight end Jake Ferguson block Aiden Hudson and David Ojabo, and then make tough catches like this. See you at the Senior Bowl. I had him as my number 5 tight end in the class. I have a tweet saying, "Give me Jake Ferguson." Did I have him in a mock draft?
I did. My 2022 mock draft, I took him with my 5th round pick, 147th overall, tight end Jake Ferguson. And you know what's funny?
What pick?
147th pick.
What round?
5th round.
Oh, 5th round. You really loved him. Sounds like you really loved him.
Hey, I don't control the mock draft simulator. And you know what's funny? I took Jalen Tolbert in the 4th round. Both Cowboys.
Well, look at you little Dallas Cowboy fan.
Yep. And then I quote tweeted you. You said, go watch Wisconsin tight end Jake Ferguson block Aiden Hutchinson. And then I quote tweeted you with another blocking play. How do you like that?
I like that more than you do. I told you like, oh, I'd have more stuff in the office by today.
You don't.
I had all these plans to do it, and I got stung. I got stung by a bee or a wasp. I don't know. And 5 years ago, I found out I was allergic to that as I was passed out on a lawn, in anaphylactic shock. So first time in 5 years I got stung, and I went into fucking survival mode. So I keep Benadryl I need to just get an EpiPen and stop being a stubborn idiot. Because that's kind of the way like when that happened 5 years ago, they're like, do you want me to call an ambulance? And my mind thinking of an ambulance bill, I'm like, no, like I could be dying. And I'm like, don't call the ambulance. Like can't move. And the glove box on my truck was broken. And the Benadryl was in there. I grab a flathead screwdriver, bam, break open the Benadryl, start chewing on Benadryl, and then take a Benadryl and wet it and start like rubbing it on it, and then find a spray and went. Does
that work? Wetting a Benadryl and rubbing it on the spot?
Yeah, you're supposed to use baking soda, but you can use a Benadryl too. I went into survival mode yesterday. I was like, I'm not going to anaphylactic shock again. Like, I mean, I went in my truck, one of those long flatheads, and just bam, busted that thing open and just started chewing. And if you've ever like Benadryl will make your mouth numb too if you chew. So part of me is like, is this the allergic reaction or is this Benadryl? And then after 25 minutes, I'm like, okay, I have made it. I have survived this.
Did you sleep?
Oh, that's why I didn't get anything, because I took like 4 or 5 Benadryls.
Oh my God.
And it knocked me out. I got home and I slept for like 3 or 4 hours. And then even when I woke up, I was just like super sluggish. So I couldn't get anything done.
That's tough.
Yeah. So hopefully I don't get stung again. I just need to get a freaking EpiPen.
Seeing you, being around you when there's a bee, it's crazy.
I don't want to go into anaphylactic shock.
Because you're a large human being, and seeing you run away and avoid something like that is crazy.
Yeah. One of my friends was like, "Oh, the sting hurts." I was like, you could sting me 25 times. I don't give a damn about the sting. Give a damn about my heart wanting to stop.
You ever hear that story of I got stung by a bee getting out of the shower when I was in college?
No.
I did. It was in my
I didn't even know
towel.
I was allergic. I got stung before the last time and never went into anaphylactic shock.
You ever get stung while you were naked?
Nope.
I did.
That's weird.
I know.
Why don't we bring on Danny King? But first, the world can be a crazy, stressful, overwhelming place full of bees. So what do? You want to just forget all about the bees and chill? Our friends at Cushy Dreams have got you. Cushy Dreams is the finest in legal cannabis. And that's products like smokable Delta 8, CBD flower, and pre-rolls. And they've got gummies. Their Delta 9 THC gummies contain the same active type of THC as the stuff they only sell at the dispensary. They come in strawberry, sour watermelon, green apple, and tangerine. They also have extra strength 1,000 milligram Delta H THC gummies as part of their limited edition artist series. And everything from Cushy Dreams is federally legal in the United States and discreetly shipped to you. One winner gets a pack of Cushy Dream products worth over $250 that includes pre-rolls, gummies, and more. How to win? You're automatically entered when you make a purchase this month when you use the promo code GIANTS25. Each purchase counts as one entry, 21 plus. So go to cushydreams.com, KUSHY dreams.com, and use promo code GIANTS25 for 25% off your next order. That's 25% off an entry to win free stuff with promo code GIANTS25. We now welcome on Danny King for weather and trivia. Danny, what's the weather going to look like in Dallas or Arlington, Texas?
That dome, back-to-back dome games. Love that. Love to see that for the culture. It's going to be 64 degrees, slight chance of rain. So if you're in Dallas, it might rain a little bit there. Nothing crazy, though. Windy as well. But luckily, you'll be indoors, so the weather won't affect you. This team may affect you mentally and everything else, but the weather won't be a factor, so that's always a plus.
Or walking to and from the stadium if it's raining. Is it going to rain before or after the game?
It's going to rain. It's just like all throughout the game. Like it's just like showers, like from like kickoff on. So like, probably when you're walking to the stadium, you'll probably get hit with a shower.
So maybe that stupid glare, that stupid sunshine glare, won't actually impact the game at all.
Oh, that is a good point. I didn't even think about that from that standpoint. See,
is this a 4:30 game?
My mic right there.
Yeah,
it's 4:25.
Fucking NFL, dude.
America's game of the week.
I'm tired of this shit, dude.
Kevin, the entire main Fox crew's on this game. Main Fox crew.
Why?
They've been blessed with this game.
Why does the whole world need to watch Tommy DeVito?
They could have flexed this out. They could. This is the worst week of prime time. We'll talk about that with spread picks, obviously. But
I wonder if they're gonna. Everyone wants them to flex out the Giants-Packers Monday Night Football game, but I kind of don't. I just want to enjoy that Sunday and just deal with Monday Night Football.
I agree.
All right, let's do. What's trivia this week?
Well, trivia this week. First off, I wanted to go see last time the Giants started back with quarterback. There was no good trivia points to come from this game. It was when Mike Lennon absolutely sucked, and then we all thought Jake Fromm was the future.
Yeah, Jake Fromm had that drive at the end of the game.
About drive and a half. They also said 77,000 people were at that game. That feels like a lie. So I'm just gonna go simple this week. Who leads the Giants in receiving yards in a game against the Dallas Cowboys? Who doesn't?
Plaxico Burress.
Plaxico Burress. Justin, do you have an answer?
I think that is correct, but I will say Kadarius Toney.
Justin pulled that out of nowhere. He's correct.
I forgot about Toney.
Kadarius Toney back in. It kind of shocked me to learn that it actually was Toney.
Like franchise history?
Yeah, like in any game against the Dallas Cowboys, it was Kadarius Toney.
That's crazy.
In a single game, he had 189 yards.
Which Flax had that 3-touchdown game. Victor Cruz had that game at the end of 2011. Like I forgot about the Toney game.
189 yards on 10 targets. Let's see. He had no touchdowns that game. He had no touchdowns that game. 76% catch percentage, yards per target. He averaged 18.9 yards per reception. So
he didn't even play the whole game because he punched somebody in the face.
He got punched somebody in the face and got ejected.
So he had 189 yards in that game.
Yeah.
I'm gonna do some math real quick.
189 yards.
What's the percentage of how many yards that
over
was?
25% of his career yards came in that game.
Yeah.
26.3% of his yards came
Does this include with the this does not include with the Chiefs, right? This is only with the Giants?
No, this does include with the Chiefs. You know that he still has not, and he has, as a Chief, he has not had more receiving yards than as a Giant.
That's hilarious.
And he's definitely
has
played
298 yards in 2 years with the Chiefs.
It generally it should have shocked me because we knew obviously he went off that game for when he was in the game, but just seeing it still just made me laugh, and I needed that laugh going into this game.
Dude, and it was so perfect that he finished it off with a punch, just punching somebody. It was amazing. All right, let's do fantasy. I won last week, so I'm in second. I'm 3.7 points behind Danny. And then Justin is in last. He's 26.7 points back. I'll be picking first, Danny second, Justin third. Pretty simple. I'm going CeeDee Lamb. It's CeeDee Lamb or bust for the Cowboys offense, and it's CeeDee Lamb or bust for the first pick in the fantasy draft. Danny, who do you got?
I don't know why I didn't think you would go CeeDee Lamb because as you guys talked about, that's literally the Dallas.
Can I say something?
Cowboys
I'm
offense.
thinking about maybe next year changing it to either no PPR or half PPR, because I feel like it becomes oh well, it's better to take Wandale, who's going to get 5 catches for 25 yards versus a running back who may get 75 yards and not a touchdown.
I think half PPR is fair.
We'll see. We'll think about it. Maybe we'll change it next year.
I'm in a half PPR fantasy football league this year for the first time, and it's it does put more value on running backs even if they don't catch a shit ton of passes. So
yeah, I want running backs to have more value at the top of these drafts. Which again, they're always they're always picked in the top 4, but I'd like there to be a little more threat of that. But I'm gonna go CeeDee Lamb even if we weren't doing PPR. Danny, who you got?
So I was told to avoid any Giant at all costs besides one, and that man's name is Saquon Barkley, and so I will take Saquon Barkley. And now I know the Giants suck, but he's gonna get touches, and for as long as Saquon Barkley is healthy and the Giants running back under a Tommy DeVito led offense, he will get touches and he will get points. Hopefully that's the goal. So Saquon.
Yeah, I just don't know if the Giants are capable of touchdowns, and that's why I'm excited that you took Saquon. Justin, you got back-to-back picks.
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to take 2 Cowboys. I'm going to take the Cowboys starting running back and also the Cowboys player that's third in the team in receptions, and that being Tony Pollard. And then I'll take the Cowboys player that's second on the team in receptions, and that's Jake Ferguson.
Well, you're finally giving Jake Ferguson a little more respect, not taking him in the 5th round. Has Jake Ferguson even made these drafts?
He probably did week 1.
Yeah, so the top 4 of my big board are the top 4 that went. I had Saquon third after Pollard. Danny, who's your second pick?
Yeah, now it's just not fun anymore.
No, it's okay, this is the decider.
Yeah, man,
It sucks that we're back in guess the one Giants receiver who will have 4 catches for 40 yards.
Yeah, and
it really sucks. It's good. This may go down as the lowest points per game season because we have to do 8 more games of this, and it wasn't great in the beginning, like last year. This may go down as the lowest point total per game. We'll see. Who do you got?
Yeah, I mean, I know you guys talked about Darius Slayton, and there's really a part of me that's if there is gonna be the one Giants receiver to get it, it's gonna be Darius Slayton. But I just, with my slim lead right now, I'm just gonna take the team. I'm just gonna take Brandon Cooks.
Okay. I'm glad you took Brandon Cooks because I had Michael Gallup next to my big board. Michael Gallup has had games against the Giants, and when facing man coverage, which the Giants are going to do a lot, Dak will be willing to throw versus him. And Deontay Banks has been low-key a little stinky lately. And I think that's, it's either Deontay Banks or Trey Hawkins covering him. So I'm going to take Gallup. And then I'm actually going to go safe. Even though if you ask me who's have a better game, I'd probably say Slayton. I'm going to take Wandale because of the PPR. Like, I'm going to play it safe that he's going to get me some PPR. Tommy DeVito did throw a touchdown to him. So I'm going to play it safe this week. I'm going Wandale Robinson. I don't see him being possibly shut out from a game. Slayton could be. Danny, your third pick.
Yeah, I do regret you going Wandale there. I'm just going to take Darius at this point. Like, I do think there's a chance he could get completely shut out. But I just don't like any of my other options right now to work with, so I'm going to take Darius here.
Justin, back-to-back picks.
I really thought Luke Schoonmaker had more catches this year. I mean, he has 3.
I know. I thought I was going to Schoonmaker, 3 catches.
I'm thinking there's a better chance of the Cowboys' backup tight end scoring a touchdown than honestly the Giants' number 2 receiver. Just Daniel Bellinger. Let's go for touchdown or bust here.
You got 2 picks.
Daniel Bellinger 1. I regrettingly have 2 picks. I'll take Luke Schoonmaker because why not? Because let's ride with all 3 tight ends that are going to be used in this game.
Lawrence Cager. Lawrence Cager's best receiving game probably was versus the Cowboys last year.
Lawrence Cager lock for a touchdown this week. No, I disagree. I think the Eagles last year was Lawrence Cager's best game as a Giant.
The game when they weren't playing?
The game where no starters were playing, yes.
That's like a preseason. That's like saying a preseason game is his best game.
Hey,
Danny, your last pick.
Yeah, no, I don't need to do one. Oh man. Wow. So Justin, you went Bellinger and who's the other guy?
And Luke Schoonmaker.
Schoonmaker.
Jalen Tolbert could catch a deep pass.
Catch a deep pass. Why is I'm on the wrong site here. Man. You know, Justin, just because of that, I'm gonna listen to Justin's advice here. I'm gonna take Jalen Tolbert. Justin special right there.
I'm so conflicted. It's like part of me wants to go Hyatt, right? Obviously, that's the most capable of points, but I'm gonna actually go. Again, this game's probably going to be a blowout. I'm going to go Rico Dowdle, the backup running back for the Dallas Cowboys. I think they'll be willing to give him some touches. I know, I hate leaving Hyatt off of this, but he's just so capable of having more games than not. He ends up being a dud with his production. So, to recap, Danny, who's in first, has Saquon Barkley, Brandon Cooks, Darius Slayton, and Jalen Tolbert. Myself in second, 3.7 points back. CeeDee Lamb, Michael Gallup, Wandale Robinson, Rico Dowdle. And then Justin, Tony Pollard, Jake Ferguson, Daniel Bellinger, and Luke Schoonmaker. All right, it's time for Giant Factors. And you're wondering, why didn't you talk about this matchup at the beginning of the show, Bobby? My one thing that the Giants can do, the one thing on the Giants that will make me happy the rest of the year is watching Andrew Thomas. Now, unfortunately, and the last 2 battles versus Micah Parsons, he was very sick and then injured his hamstring on the first drive of the game. He's healthy. He's back. And I want to see Andrew Thomas. I want to be able to clip up Andrew Thomas versus Micah Parsons and say, that's your daddy. Andrew Thomas. And give it to where Tommy DeVito is not getting crushed. He's not going to get crushed on the blind side, but at least give him some comfort. Hey, at least you got yourself protected over here, young Tommy. So I'm going to go Andrew Thomas as my Giant factor. Danny, who do you get?
I'm just gonna go Wandale. I mean, Tom DeVito's gonna be looking for someone. I don't think he's gonna have much confidence to pass the ball deep, and even the Giants may want him to avoid that. So this could be like a nice little Wandale Robinson game, hitting him. Maybe Tommy develops some sort of chemistry there with Wandale. There's any receiver right now that I see, it's either Slayton or Wandale. So I'm just gonna rock with Wandale this week. Look, Wandale, it's tough. It's tough. You've had good games this year. Also had just kind of games where you're like, hey, not really a part of the game plan, but just I just want to enjoy watching Wandale. I want to enjoy watching everyone on this offense, but Wandale is someone that I can see being a big part of this offense moving forward. We all see that. So Wandale, just let's go have some fun games. Touchdown this week may not be possible, but just give Tommy DeVito something to rely on, and I think you could be that guy. So Wandale Robinson, you're the Giant factor.
Wink Martin or Jordan Renan. Wink Martindale says he spoke to Xavier McKinney this week about his comments. Martindale specifies first time in his career this kind of complaint happened to him. It hurt him. It did. You read it and you go, what? Thinks it was frustration over an in-game adjustment. They've handled it. Okay. All right. Not that big of news. Justin, who's your Giant factor for week 10?
Want to know what's funny about that? That's a perfect transition because Xavier McKinney is my Giant factor this week. Don't need to expand upon it much. Xavier McKinney talking shit, pointing fingers at another coaching staff, second coaching staff in a row. This one probably, well, no, even last one, not really deservedly so. Not Patrick Graham, not the defensive side of the ball. And, this coaching staff has some disagreements with it. He's not heard. Well, we haven't been hearing much of you on the field outside of kind of going to the All-22 and being like, oh, look at Xavier McKinney prevent this. Look at Xavier McKinney cover this. Look at Xavier McKinney be a box safety. Go out there, be heard. You want to be heard? Well, give us a reason for us to hear you this Sunday. Force a turnover, make a big play, make a splash, be a Giant factor.
Very nice. All right. Now we're going to get into spread picks. Before we get into them, Danny, who are spread picks brought to us by?
Guys, I just want to know, do you guys know who the pretenders are? It could be the Dolphins if we're going to be honest. And who are the
Cowboys, actually. The Cowboys are actually a pretender.
Do you guys know any, and who are the contenders? Like Chiefs, Bengals kind of turning it on right now?
Bengals.
I don't know, but we're more than halfway through the NFL season, but DraftKings Sportsbook is still pumping out unbeatable offers every single game. New customers can bet just $5 on anything to get $200 instantly in bonus bets. And DraftKings isn't stopping there. All customers could take advantage of a sweetener offer every game day. You heard that, every game day. So right now, get in on the football action with the DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NFL. Download the app right now. No choice. Download it right now and use promo code WORLD. New customers can bet just $5 on anything to get $200 instantly in bonus bets only on DraftKings Sportsbook with promo code WORLD, WORLD. The crown is yours. Gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit www.1800gambler.net. In New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY to 467-369. In Connecticut, help is available for problem gambler. Call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org. Please play responsibly on behalf of Boot Hill Casino and Resort. Licensee partner Golden Nugget Lake Charles. 21 plus age varies by jurisdiction. Void in Ontario. Bonus bets expire 168 hours after issuance. See sportsbook.draftkings.com/football terms, eligibility and deposit restrictions, terms, and responsible gambling resources. Guys, you will be glad you did.
Justin, you recognize this?
Yes. IROC, right?
Yeah, IROC 2004 Johnson car.
Nice.
Right here. Next to my Eli Manning helmet.
Talking NASCAR.
Can't see it. Spread picks. I won last week, baby. I'm back. Went 4-4. You guys all went 3-5.
You're back.
And the listeners, the shit-talking listeners, oh, we're so much better than you, blah, blah, blah. You're under 500. 34-35. Who is theirs? If you bet on every single pick, you'd lose money. Losers.
They're also one game below 500.
Losers. Justin and Danny, also losers. 30-39. They both went back 3-5 last week. They're 4 games back at the listeners. Myself, who is won last week, so technically a winner, I am 28-41.
Significantly farther behind the listeners.
Who won last week?
Okay.
All right, we have a game I'm so interested in on Thursday Night Football. Panthers at Bears -3. The listeners represented by Evan Boyd this week are going Bears -3. I think I'm just taking the plus on I'm taking the dog on every Thursday Night Football for the rest of the year. I'm going Panthers plus here. I think I think they win versus the Tyson Bagent Bears. Justin, who do you got?
I'm also going to go Panthers, but if you actually do bet money on this game, I think you need to be checked into like an institution.
That's what you should call 1-800-GAMBLER probably. Panthers are 1-6 against the spread.
UPS just like dropped off a package and motherfucker was not handling with care. Just sounded like a fucking firework outside.
I was so because I didn't hear Bobby like send it to me. I was like, all right, I guess. Do you know what you got delivered? First off, is it
Probably a diecast, but
Probably a diecast.
which is probably broken now.
So speaking of 1-800-GAMBLER, you need help?
Panthers are 1-6 against the spread this year, so I'm just gonna be different and go the Chicago Bears, Tyson Bagent. But hey, Matt Eberflus, Justin Fields is doubtful, but he might play, but he's also out.
No,
that's
he's
what
out.
That's what Matt. I'm just saying what Matt Eberflus said at a press conference yesterday.
He said he may play, but he's out. Is that what he said?
He said doubtful. Then he's like, we'll see in pregame warmups, and then he's like, no,
sure.
he's out.
Okay.
Yeah, it was the most confusing thing. Bears. The Bears.
Have you ever listened to a Bears press conference? It's the most annoying shit in the world. They have, because you know how they do transcripts for the reporters?
Yeah.
You literally hear the transcript in the background the entire time going,
Just type it away.
like, fucking figure it out, Chicago. Man, you guys are a shitty franchise. Texans at Bengals -6.5. Justin, are you riding the Bengals or are you getting in on the CJ Stroud hype?
I think I am. I think the Texans can still play like a respectable game even if they lose by 10. And I think that's likely. So give me the Bengals here.
I'm going Bengals as well. Danny, who do you got?
Oh, game of the week, some are calling it. I'm taking the Texans plus 6.5. I'll be honest with you. I CJ Stroud's fun. Now, as I say that, he'll probably suck this week. But I'm also probably be relying on Nico Collins as well this week in fantasy. So I would like the Texans to make this a close game, and I think they could keep it within 6.5. Even with
Listeners agree. First two games of the slate, me and Justin versus Danny and the listeners. Which I'm glad you guys picked different on Thursday Night Football, so you guys aren't tied in the standings for Sunday morning. Browns at Ravens -6. Ravens won this game pretty easily in their first matchup. You didn't have Deshaun Watson. I know Deshaun Watson isn't playing good, but he's a lot better than what the Browns had. And I think the Browns will be able to make enough adjustments. I think the Browns end up covering this. Browns +6, even though I think the Ravens win by 3 points. Danny, who do you got?
I mean, maybe I'm just buying too much into the Ravens hype, but I'm gonna be going Ravens this week. They're just a very good football team, and I feel like at home they're also just a really good football. I don't see right now. I mean, the Browns' good defense. I just don't see their offense being able to keep up with this team.
Listeners agree. So, Justin, are you going to keep it 3 for 3, me and you versus the listeners and Danny?
Man, the Ravens have been kicking ass.
So they're due for a tight game.
Ravens have been kicking ass. They're, if you believe in do, which I do. Nah, give me the Ravens.
Me versus the world. 49ers at Jags +3. This is the game of the week, Danny King. I'm a big believer in the 49ers. Like, I have no panic about them. Coming off the bye week, obviously, is you have a little bit of rust. But the 49ers are just supremely more talented than the Jacksonville Jags. And I think they're going to get after them. I'm going 49ers -3. Justin?
I'll tell you what. Jaguars' defense is pretty darn good, and it's been playing really well over the last month. And 49ers' defense has not been playing very well. You know what? Say it with your chest. I think this is an upset. I think the Jags win.
Danny?
First off, just read Tom Coughlin inducted into the Pride of the Jaguars class 2024. So shout out Tom Coughlin. Good for him.
I thought they hated him.
Yeah, well, I guess he's...
Well, I mean, his coaching stint was really good there.
Not as a front office member. I'm
His
going Jaguars.
his coaching. I'm sorry. His coaching stint. I'm very passionate about this because I've done a lot of research on this. His coaching stint ended very similarly to how his front office stint did. Like people just being like, "You are just an asshole," which
Yeah, but he got them to like an AFC Championship game as an expansion franchise.
he did. But he also costed them a lot of good players, and like all of them wanted to leave.
Yeah.
I never said a bad thing about Tom Coughlin. Take all of that out.
These pussies. Yeah.
Get upset.
Sorry,
Get upset, Tony
bunch
Khan.
of pussies. Sorry,
it's that part of the season
sorry. I like the opinions of Justin Tuck and Michael Strahan and all these people, and not pussies from Jacksonville. Danny, who did you pick?
I picked the Jags. It's that part of the season when Bobby's just letting pussies fly on it.
Letting pussies fly.
49ers -3 for the listeners. Titans at Bucks -1. Danny.
Good Lord. Titans at Bucks. Not Malik Willis. Will Levis kind of fun. Call myself there. Let's rock Will Levis again this week. I know they lost last week to the Steelers, but I mean it was a tough one, and I think they could bounce back into Bucks team that's obviously regressing right now.
Yeah, the Steelers defense is good. The listeners are going Titans. I'm going Titans. Justin, are you going against us?
Yeah, even though the Bucks defense has sucked, I do think Todd Bowles is going to put the rookie QB in a little bit of a pretzel. So give me the Bucks.
I remember once Daniel Jones had a rookie game versus Todd Bowles.
Wow.
Remember the memories?
Yeah.
Should we do a tribute video for Daniel Jones? So I'm actually landing on both sides of that. Like, it's 2023. We got to stop doing the "It's a Long Day" song. For people, especially like obviously DJ hasn't won, but Daniel Jones has been the Giants quarterback for 5 years. Did get a contract. Like the idea that they haven't won a bunch of games. You can't have any type of negative or emotion against about this is also silly.
I think you do it. I think you do it after.
Like I am sad about Daniel Jones.
I don't think you do it after he's no longer the starting quarterback. I mean, well, he's not, but when he's off the team officially, when the future quarterback is here, that's what.
See, I think this is the perfect because when he's off the team, he's going to be cut. He's going to be a year after a rookie QB. I think this is if there's any no more Fast and Furious songs.
If Julian were working here and he made a video that wasn't like he died, then I'd be like, yeah, we should put it out.
See, I mean, it's I don't know. It's hard to do that after his worst stretch of football. Anyways, so I guess my answer is that no, probably wouldn't do that. Lions at Chargers +3. I think this is the who are you game. I'm going to go Chargers +3 because we don't fully know who. Maybe we fully do know, but it's like which one of these teams is better. I'm going to go Chargers +3. I'm just going to take the points. Justin.
Lions.
Danny.
Scary thing to me here is the Chargers are home underdogs. I'm not really a fan of that. But man, I feel like the Lions struggle on the road. I'm going to rock with Bob this week. I'm going to take the Chargers to cover this game.
Listeners agree. Falcons at Cardinals +1.5. Kyler Murray's back. I'm all in on the Cardinals, baby. Cardinals +1.5. Justin.
I hate the Falcons. Give me the Falcons, though.
Danny.
I mean, but they have two ass quarterbacks. Maybe I don't know. I don't even know what we're gonna get from Kyler. I'll take the Cardinals here as well. Home dogs again. Gotta rock with the home dogs.
Listeners agree. Justin versus all of us in the last 3 picks. All right, and then Sunday Night Football, Jets at Raiders +1. The listeners are going Raiders +1. Who do you got, Danny?
I was told the Jets are back, and it was MetLife Stadium. I was told that last week, I guess.
Kings of New York. Have you ever seen the video of the kid who comes out the Stone Cold Steve Austin song and busts the beer bottles in the pool?
Oh, yeah.
I thought about quote tweeting the Kings of New York tweet with that, but I figured I'd know.
Yeah.
So who do you got, Danny?
I got the Raiders. They're a fun team. They could actually have a quarterback that's producing, unlike one guy that does it in 24 seconds. So I take the Raiders this week, and Antonio Pierce is a fun game. Even though, what can I do say? it was kind of annoying seeing the Raiders smoke cigars after beating the Giants. Like, congrats, Antonio Pierce, first game. You guys are back. But don't act like you just beat the number 1 team in the NFL. Let's
Those
slow
were-
our roll, please.
Those were I hate Josh McDaniels.
That's
cigars.
what that was? Okay.
Yes.
Okay. That's fair. If it's a Josh
I also thought
McDaniels
about
hate,
quote
that's
tweeting
better.
Zach Rosenblatt when he's saying like this is pitiful. Or he had some tweet like this is terrible for the Jets. I was thought about waiting until there's 24 seconds left and being like, hold on, there's still 24 seconds left.
Nice.
But I didn't want to be petty. Justin, who do you got?
Better than me.
I mean, the Jets have to, right? They have to win.
They have to. They get Aaron Rodgers back in a fortnight, apparently.
First game for the interim head coach is great. Second game is when it goes downhill.
Yeah, I agree with that. But even if it was like, I would pick the Jets in this anyways. Their defense is still really good, and what they do is like I think Aiden O'Connell is gonna look horrible this week because like watching the Jets for this Giants film is like they give you like zone looks, which makes you think, okay, work your concepts, but they just close in on everything, and I feel like that's going to be a real issue for O'Connell. And then they can get to you without blitzing too. So I think the Jets. This will be a game where the Jets defense really dominates. And I actually think if there's a game for Zach Wilson to play well, it's this game. Tommy DeVito, when he wasn't taking sacks, was able to complete the ball down the field. So I got the Jets in this too. All right, it's time for your predictions of Giants-Cowboys. Danny, what do you got?
Yeah, we're gonna lose. Probably like, did they hit 40 again this week? I don't know. I don't know. A lot of things went right for the Cowboys last week. Giants lose 35-6. 35-6. Randy Bullock game.
So 2 field goals, not a missed extra point.
I had 2 field goals.
We haven't seen Randy Bullock kick either because they went for 2 in their 1 touchdown.
I was gonna be honest. I legitimately forgot who was the kicker. I almost said Cade York, but then I remembered.
It still could be Cade York. By the way, you did pick Graham Gano as your Giant factor last week.
No, I said the kicker. I said the kicker. To be fair, I said whoever was our kicker.
Okay, Justin, what do you got?
Mike Florio predicted a 52-10 Cowboy victory. If anybody cares about that, even though he's an asshole. 31-10. So I'll agree with Mike Florio with 10 points.
The Giants are going to get killed. They're going to get dominated. So we appreciate you guys. We will see you on a reaction pod. Giants 77, Cowboys 0. Until then, let's go Big Blue.